Thank you very much to the Program Director, Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Professor Samadoda Fikeni, Deputy Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Ms. Zukiswa Kolomba, Minister of Public Service and Administration, Nokolo Kivit, Vice Chancellor of UNISA, Professor Puleng Lenkabula, and former Vice Chancellors who have joined us today, Member of the House of the Lords of the United Kingdom, Lord Peter Hain, High Commissioner of Singapore, His Excellency H.C. Mantaha, and let me also recognize other members of the Diplomatic Corps who have joined us today. Commissioner of the Public Service Commission, Ms. Ngwenya, Chairperson of the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council, Professor Firoz Kachalia, United Nations Resident Coordinator, Mr. Mufu. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to address you on this International Anti-Corruption Day regarding the pervasive scourge of corruption that affects every corner of the world. I'm particularly pleased that we are hosting this event at the University of South Africa, which has made a significant contribution to the education of many South Africans and the professionalization of public servants in particular. It is imperative for the public sector and the private sector to unite in their dedication to the principle of maintaining good governance, which is founded on ethical behavior, accountability, and transparency. These are the ideals that former President Nelson Mandela, whose 10th anniversary of his passing we commemorated on the 5th of December, believed in and adhered to. Former President Nelson Mandela played an integral role in advocating for a constitution based on principles of social justice, inclusion, accountability, and decisive leadership. It was through his leadership and those who led with him that we learned the values of selflessness and putting people first. Corruption, on the other hand, is based on selfishness and a lack of concern for the majority that one leads. It is on this basis that we should be vigilant in how we address corruption, especially in the public sector. It is a persistent problem that inhibits development, fairness, and equality in our society. Therefore, it is crucial that we all come together under the banner of this year's theme, which is UNCAC at 20, Uniting the World Against Corruption, Anti-Corruption Policies and Programs, how to better collaborate to improve implementation and impact, which acknowledges the challenges we face in combating corruption and calls for a united front. As government, we are dedicated to eliminating corruption and dealing harshly with those who partake in it. As part of our commitment, South Africa signed the United Nations Convention Against Corruption on the 9th of December 2003 and ratified it on the 22nd of November 2004. The ratification of the convention meant that South Africa, as a member state, is responsible for the obligations, amongst others, to promote and strengthen measures to prevent and combat corruption, promote, facilitate, and support international cooperation and technical assistance in the prevention of and fight against corruption, including assets recovery, and also promote integrity, accountability, and proper management of public affairs and public property. Moreover, in the 29 years since the inception of our democracy, South Africa has developed a framework of law, strategy, and institutions with a mandate to combat corruption. We have enacted the Prevention and Combating of Corruption Activities Act, which enhances measures to prevent and combat corruption in both the public and the private sectors. In November 2020, we adopted the National Anti-Corruption Strategy 2020 to 2030, with the objective of creating a South Africa that has the following: an ethical and accountable state, business, and civil society sectors in which those in position of power and authority act with integrity, citizens who respect the rule of law and are empowered to hold those in power accountable, and also zero tolerance to corruption in any sphere of activity and substantially reduce the level of corruption. We are also striving to create a corruption-free South Africa through the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council, an intersectoral partnership that fights fraud and corruption through advocacy and action. The Council is an independent body that supports the anti-corruption and anti-crime initiatives of the various law enforcement authorities to enhance the nation's endeavors to eradicate corruption from both society and the administration, bolster investor confidence, and establish greater levels of public trust. The Constitution, which incorporates the principles of social justice, human dignity, accountability, transparency, and the rule of law, is our most potent tool in combating crime and corruption. As public servants and office bearers, we must safeguard the preamble of our Constitution and constantly remind ourselves that our purpose is to serve the people, not to satisfy our stomachs. Our priority should be those whom we have sworn to serve and protect. Ladies and gentlemen, as government, we have embarked on a wide range of measures to implement the recommendation of the State Capture Commission, which together should help ensure that such activities can never happen again. We have also taken steps by amending sections of the Companies Act to require the identity of shareholders of companies and address concerns about tax avoidance and also illicit financial flows. This includes action taken against illegal imports and also illicit cigarette sales. As an organization, the African National Congress has taken steps to fight corruption and strengthen integrity by requiring that members and leaders facing serious criminal charges step aside. The ANC government has issued guidelines on conducting lifestyle audits, and provincial departments are being technically assisted in implementing lifestyle audits and discipline management. However, the scourge of corruption persists, and we need to understand how corruption manifests itself. We need active citizenry, the people's participation in the transformation process, and fighting any form of corruption. In this regard, we have introduced measures to tackle state corruption and patronage, including oversight visits by Parliament and legislatures, spot checks in departments, investigation by our Chapter 9 institutions, and measures such as I indicated earlier, lifestyle audits of public servants, and stopping public servants from doing business with government. We have also strengthened the monitoring and evaluation function in our government, including performance agreements and monitoring of ministers, of premiers, as well as monitoring and evaluation function also at the ANC itself. Our strategy to combat corruption includes not only the prevention and prosecution of illegal activities, but also the reformation of institutional culture and systems that facilitate unethical conduct. We will maintain our resolve to intensify our efforts in order to eliminate corruption. I am profoundly inspired by the fact that, notwithstanding a few intermittent setbacks, we have not shied away in despondency and retreat. Our unwavering dedication to combating corruption is rooted in the principles of good governance, integrity, and the protection of public resources. We call on public servants, citizens, and anyone who witnesses any act of corruption to report it to the authorities. Whistleblowing is an essential weapon in the fight against corruption. However, it is more important that we develop strong mechanisms or strategies to ensure that whistleblowers are protected from victimization, from prejudice, or even assassinations. Failure to provide whistleblowers with protection under our system will prevent us from ever reaching our goal of eliminating corruption in our society. It is crucial to highlight that the ongoing battle against corruption necessitates strategic collaboration across several sectors, including government, labor, civil society, academia, and business. In conclusion, Program Director, I agree with Professor J.S.H. Geldenhuys in his book called Ethics and Professionalism, The Battle Against Public Corruption, where he states that a possible cure for immoral and unethical conduct in the public sector and the prevention of corruption is to create a culture of public professionalism. Building an efficient, capable, and ethical state free of corruption remains our top priority. This means that the public service must be staffed by men and women who are professional, who are skilled, who are selfless, and who are honest. I'm confident, Program Director, that the discussions we will have today will significantly advance our efforts to combat corruption in our society. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy President. There we have it, the commitment from the highest office, from the Presidency,